Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making some roast beef. Now I'm going to be using a crock pot, but here are the ingredients. Beef chuck roast. Now there are different cuts of roast. I prefer beef chuck roast. It's actually the number one cut preferred when you're making roast beef, but whatever you have is just fine. Now you see I have all these herbs: beef broth, Worcestershire sauce, of course, extra virgin olive oil, thyme, rosemary, bay leaves, some carrots. I have a half of onion, that's a sweet onion, and celery, salt and pepper. I also have a whole clove of garlic that you didn't see in this clip, but I also have that. So first thing we're going to do is basically salt and pepper our meat. And that's what you can see here. It's a nice cut meat. When you're choosing your meat, try to choose meat that has a nice kind of like marble effect. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's mostly fat, but it doesn't have to be like a thick contrast of the marble, but you do want some marble because that's how you can tell if it's going to be really tender or not. It's kind of like when you have bacon, like you want it, you do want a little fat in there, especially with the roast because it breaks down the rest of the meat while it's cooking. Now, this is a 3.5 pound roast, and I cooked it for about 9.5, maybe 10 hours at the most. So first thing we're going to do, and a lot of people don't do this, but I prefer to do this. We're going to heat up our pan, a really large pan, with some olive oil. And we're going to just sear our roast on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes. This prevents our roast from completely breaking down, and it's going to give us that it's going to keep your roast together. Although it's going to break apart, so yummy, but you still want it to kind of look like a whole roast instead of stew. So I did it for about 2 minutes on that side, and I'm probably going to do a full 3 minutes on this back side. After that, I already heated up my crock pot, as you can see here. And so the first thing I did was add 2 cups of hot water, and I'm going to add this whole beef broth. This is about 32 ounces of beef broth. If you want to use vegetable broth, you can. Since we're already making beef, you can use vegetable broth instead of beef. I prefer the beef broth because it makes the gravy taste so amazing. Next, we're going to add our roast into our pot, and then I also like to add the pan drippings. I'm not for wasting anything, especially wasting flavors. Then we're going to add our onions and carrots and celery. Now the thing is, with the onions, carrots, and celery, a lot of people like to add the potatoes too. And here you can see I add the bay leaves. A lot of people like to add the potatoes. You can. I prefer you guys add the potatoes around the last 2 hours that you're cooking, just so your potatoes don't break down too much. All right. And now we have our rosemary, and I'm also going to add some fresh thyme to my pot as well. A lot of people take it off the stock. I just leave it on because it's really no reason to take it off. I have a half a stick of butter, and I have those garlic cloves that I told you guys about. So I basically just put the whole pieces of garlic in there. If you want to use chopped garlic, you can. I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. That's our favorite word on the channel. Worcestershire sauce. And this is after about 4 hours of the roast cooking in my crock pot. Now, I didn't have to check it. I just wanted you guys to kind of see the process. So once my roast was done, and I'll show you guys that soon. I take out my drippings. I leave a little bit just to kind of cover the bottom of the roast, but I take most of it out. And as you can see all those veggies have been cooked. I leave the carrots in, but I do take out the bay leaves and any sticks or stems that I may have from my thyme and my rosemary. To thicken up our gravy, because that's what we're making with the drippings in the pot, I use cold water and cornstarch and what else? Oh, and flour. So I like to add about 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and about 1/4 cup of flour. I whisk that all together with some cold water and add it to the pot of my boiling drippings. You're not adding this to the crock pot. You're adding this to the pot we just put the drippings in, and you're going to whisk that until it's thick. So here's how my roast looks, and this is before I plate. As you can see, it's still a few garlic pieces in there, and there's some carrots as well. But I did make some mashed potatoes. That's why I didn't put my potatoes in my crock pot, because I wanted mashed potatoes. So I put some roast, some carrots on top of there, and then I added my gravy. Oh, guys, also with the gravy, you can add 2 to 3 cups of browning to make your gravy a little darker. Because it's different flavors and different types of gravy, but of course for the roast beef, we definitely want to have dark gravy and not the white gravy. But whatever gravy you have, whatever gravy you prefer, is all right with me. I just love gravy so much, so I like to switch it up so I'm not getting tired of it. So as you can see here, this is a nice slow-mo video for you guys. And just to show you guys how to plate it, I just put down my mashed potatoes, kind of put a hole in the middle of my mashed potatoes, then put some of that meat on top. And this is that dark, nice and thick, hot gravy going on top of my roast beef and carrots. The carrots were so good. Now, if instead of doing mashed potatoes, if you have the small mini potatoes, if you added those to your crock pot, I'm pretty sure that looks good as well. You can also add that over some rice or just use some veggies. Tonight, I actually paired this, of course, with the mashed potatoes, but I also made some fresh green beans. And I also made some Hawaiian bread roast? Yes, some Hawaiian bread roast. So this dinner was so filling. It was perfect because today has been really cold and it just looks lovely. And this is not us finished plating because we do want to add a little bit more color. Remember what I said, presentation is everything, y'all. Presentation. Your family, your friends, your dinner guests, they eat with their eyes first. So I promise you the flavors, as you can see, the flavors are already there. It already looks nice, but we want to kind of be an artist. So I'm going to chop up some parsley. So I'm going to chop up some parsley. Or you can just kind of break the parsley down and add it to the top. And you see just those little specks of parsley did give us a little bit of color. There are those green beans. Oh my gosh, y'all. I have to give you these green beans recipe because it's so freaking good. And the only thing I do is add some butter and some, it's another video. We're not going to get into that. It's another video. So here's the final picture of my dinner. And thank you guys so much for coming. All of the ingredients will be in the description below. And I hope you guys enjoy. I know it's cold right now. It is January. Happy New Year's. And like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to cook. Have a good day.